Justin Skylar Fields was born in Kennesaw, Georgia on March 5th, 1999, to Gina Toby and Ivan Pablo Fields. Justin's part of a very athletic family. One of his half-sisters, Jaden, is a Georgia softball player, while his youngest half-sister, Jessica, is a basketball player, and his father, Pablo, was a linebacker at Eastern Kentucky. Along with growing up with a linebacker father, Justin's dad was also a U.S. Marine and an Atlanta police officer. And you better believe this played a significant role in crafting the man Justin Fields is today. Anybody who knows anything about Justin knows that at the very least, he's a stand-up guy. Using his platform, Justin has done a lot of good to give back to the community and to become a great leader. Now, Justin's parents unfortunately did divorce when he was young, and this is a traumatic event for any young child. But hey man, it happens. Sometimes people fall in love, sometimes people fall out of love. Fortunately for Justin, both his parents were still very active and very present in his life, and they raised him to become a great man. You can likely attribute a lot of this attitude and behavior to his dad, Ivan, who raised Justin with respect being their number one principle. Football was a part of Justin's life ever since he was a little kid. When he was young, he played on a pee-wee football team coached by his dad. Now, as the story usually goes, Justin, the future NFL player, was the most talented athlete, the most physically gifted athlete on this pee-wee team. Now, being the coach's son and being a talented NFL quarterback, you would think, oh, surely Justin played quarterback at the pee-wee level. Well, I think you see where this is going. In reality, Justin's dad actually had him play tailback. The only reason Justin didn't play quarterback at the pee-wee level is frankly because offenses aren't as sophisticated at the younger levels as they are at the college levels, the pro levels. You don't want to give your youngins too much to chew on, so younger offenses tend to be more running back centric. Because frankly, it's the easiest, most simple position in the game. Papa Fields told a story on the Tim May show about how Justin once touched a ball 7 times and took it for a touchdown 4 times.
I would break down the stats. I was like, my kid touched the ball. He carried the ball 7 times. I know he went to the house 4 times, but your kid carried the ball 15 times and he never went to the house. So I can't, I had it all broke down analytically for him, but it's still, it was his own challenges.
Justin's been an athlete ever since he's been able to put on his own Velcro shoes. They say sometimes you need to walk before you can run, but with Justin, it's like he's always run before he could walk. That was corny. I apologize. Moving up to the high school level, Justin's ability to move also transitioned to other sports as he got older. Justin Fields went to Harrison High School in Kennesaw, where he played not just football but baseball as well. And Justin's insane athleticism paved a path for him to be a standout baseball player at Harrison. On top of being their leadoff hitter, Justin was also a shortstop and a second baseman for the Hoyas. He was so good at the game that if he wanted to pursue a career in baseball, he very well could have. That said, his heart was in football, his main sport and his best sport in high school. It wasn't until his junior year, however, that he actually made a name for himself as a quarterback. In July 2016, just before his junior year, he attended a camp at Penn State where he received his 12th D1 offer from the university. In that 2016 junior year, Justin put together a 12-game, 3,946 yard, 38 touchdown season. 2,770 of those yards were through the air with 23 touchdowns, and 1,176 yards were on the ground with 15 touchdowns. He ran for 100 yards in 4 of those performances. Justin ended up committing to Penn State on December 1st, 2016. Now, what makes his story even more captivating was his diagnosis with epilepsy when he was 15. It was during a health class in high school when he suffered his first epileptic seizure. And after a series of tests, Justin was diagnosed with a neurological condition. And apparently this is a condition that runs through his family, with his mother also having the same condition. This diagnosis threw Justin's football life into question. His biggest fear was, hey, how is this going to affect my ability to play football? Fortunately, he has been able to manage his condition by taking anti-seizure medication every day, and he did reveal recently that he has not had an epileptic seizure since before the draft, so that's cool. So with all that stress going on, for him to bounce back and turn himself into a top high school quarterback, such a captivating story. After having shot up the high school rankings and receiving what he considered many more notable offers from schools like Georgia and Bama, Justin ended up decommitting from Penn State on June 6, 2017, and reopening his recruitment during the offseason. And it was one of the best decisions he could have made because Justin was a freaking baller. his senior year at Harrison. So much so that the Netflix series QB1, Beyond the Lights, chose to follow him during his senior year at Harrison. His inclusion in the second season of the show brought significant attention to his journey as a high school athlete, showcasing his skills, work ethic, and the challenges he faced. This exposure added to his growing reputation and provided fans with an intimate look at his life and aspirations. His outstanding performance his senior year led to him winning the 2018 Mr. Georgia Football Award, which is an award given to the best high school football player in the state of Georgia.
The winner of the Onward Reserve Mr. Georgia Football Award is one Justin Fields.
This accolade further validated his talent and solidified his status as one of the premier players in the country. On top of that, he was also named the MVP of the 2017 Elite 11 class, also featuring DTR and Trevor Lawrence. Justin was also selected for the 2018 Under Armour All-America game, featuring the best high school players in the nation. Fields turned himself from an unranked prospect to a 5-star prospect, on top of becoming the #1 dual threat quarterback in the nation, and the world was waiting to see what he'd do at the next level. And about halfway through his senior season, he officially accepted Georgia's offer and announced his commitment to play for the Bulldogs. During his freshman year at Georgia, Justin served as the backup quarterback to true sophomore Jake Fromm, who was fresh off of taking the Bulldogs to the national championship. Knowing Fromm was going to be tough competition for Fields, many people wondered, why would Justin, the nation's #2 quarterback, ever commit to Georgia? Well, the answer is as simple as Georgia's closer to home, and playing for Georgia would make life easier for everybody. So Justin decided to compete for the starting job for the Bulldogs. And while he never got to start for Georgia, he did play in 12 games as more of a situational player, going 27 for 39, 328 yards passing, and 4 touchdowns, while also running for 266 yards and another 4 touchdowns. 2018 ended up being Justin's only year at Georgia, and there's a few reasons for why he left. Number one, this is kind of obvious. You're the #1 quarterback in the nation that can run the ball. You got no business being on a college bench. Number 2, Joe Burrow just left Ohio State, and the starter Dwayne Haskins is headed to the NFL. So there's a quarterback vacancy there. Number 3, during the Dogs game against Tennessee, starting quarterback Jake Fromm was having a rough go of it. Georgia baseball player Adam Sasser was in attendance of the game and was recorded on video using a racial slur in reference to Fields. For those 3 reasons, Justin wanted out of Georgia and decided to transfer to Ohio State. Now, at the time, the NCAA rules stated that when a player transfers schools, he must first sit a year before he can start playing. However, Justin requested a hardship waiver from the NCAA under the reason that, as a potential collegiate baseball player and an MLB prospect, he felt uncomfortable playing for the Georgia baseball team because of this Adam Sasser incident. Now, let's be very clear, Justin was never going to play for the Georgia baseball team anyways. Your schedules are too complicated. There's too much work that goes into preparing for a football offense. It's too complicated. It really can't happen. However, legally, this was his way into playing right away at Ohio State, and it all worked out. The NCAA granted Justin the hardship waiver, and he was immediately eligible to play football for Ohio State in 2019. With 2019 being the first year Justin would have to lead a college football team, there were many questioning his ability to do so. But Justin was ready, and with the help of new offensive-minded head coach Ryan Day, Justin hit the ground running. The #2 ranked quarterback established himself as a future first-round pick, winning every game on the way to a conference championship appearance, where he finally fell to #1 ranked quarterback from Clemson, Trevor Lawrence. He finished 2019 throwing for 3,273 yards and 41 touchdowns while running for another 484 yards and 10 touchdowns. Justin would continue to do nothing but win for Ohio State, putting the team on his back and winning every game of the shortened 2020 college football season on the trip to the Natty. On top of that, Justin even got his revenge and smoked Trevor Lawrence by throwing 6 touchdowns in the conference finals. Unfortunately, Bama's star-studded offense featuring Devontae Smith, Najee Harris, and Jalen Waddle got the best of Justin Fields in the national championship. And while he ended his year on a loss, that should not take away from what a great season it was for Justin. He was the Sugar Bowl MVP, the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, Big Ten Quarterback of the Year, and a Heisman Trophy finalist. Now being 3 years removed from high school and already a projected first-round pick, it only made sense for Justin to finally declare for the 2021 NFL Draft. Everybody knew Justin was going to be a first-round pick. The athleticism he brought to the table was too good to pass up. However, on the first night of the draft, Justin Fields started to fall. Several quarterback-needy teams like the Niners, Jets, Lions, Panthers, and Broncos were all passing on Fields, the dual-threat quarterback. The reason why he was falling is, while he could run like a madman, scouts were unsure of his ability to read an NFL defense, an area where Fields is inconsistent to this day. Now, watching Justin fall, Chicago Bears GM Ryan Pace made some phone calls with the Giants, who already had Daniel Jones, and pulled the trigger to trade up and draft Fields with the number 11 overall pick. And with that, Justin Fields has gone from an unranked player to an NFL quarterback. In Chicago, Justin remained consistently inconsistent, to say the least. He and the Bears ended up being just a poor match, with Chicago failing to adequately support Fields, and with Justin being unable to elevate the talent around him. With Justin only having 10 wins, a few flashes in the pan, and 1 year left on his contract in Chicago, the Bears found themselves with the number 1 overall pick once again, and generational quarterback prospect Caleb Williams was waiting in the pipeline in Bears' arm's reach. Frankly, it was a no-brainer to hit the reset button on the quarterback position and take Caleb Williams, and after a rather tumultuous month and a half of NFL offseason, the Bears were able to send Justin to a very, very quarterback-desperate team in exchange for a 2025 6th-round pick that, depending on how much he plays, could turn into a 4th-round pick. That trade saw Justin Fields become a Pittsburgh Steeler, where he'll have a chance to revitalize his NFL career. I'm Devin Engel. That's the story.